Hey pumpkin lovers! Today I'm super excited to share something special with you. That's right, do this and save some money. As someone who's been carving pumpkins professionally for over a decade and teaching kids across the Midwest, I've learned a thing or two about getting the most bang for your buck during Halloween season. You know, I've won my fair share of pumpkin carving contests, but let me tell you, I've also wasted a lot of money making rookie mistakes along the way. But hey, that's why I'm here. I don't want you to make the same costly errors I did. Here's the deal. Whether you're heading to your local store or hitting up that adorable pumpkin patch with your family, there are some serious money-saving tricks you need to know. And trust me, these aren't just random tips. These are tried and tested strategies from someone who's literally made a career out of pumpkin carving. Let me share something funny. In my early days, I used to just grab the biggest, prettiest pumpkin I could find, not realizing I was probably paying double what I needed to. Now I know better, and I'm gonna help you be smarter about it too. The cool thing is, these tips won't just save you money, they'll also help your pumpkins last longer and look fresher. There's nothing worse than having your masterpiece turn into a mushy mess before Halloween even arrives, right? You know what's really awesome? When you apply these strategies, you're not just saving money, you're setting yourself up to create some truly memorable Halloween displays. I'm talking about the kind of pumpkins that make your neighbors stop and stare, and the best part, you won't have to break the bank to do it. I've got 5 game-changing tips that will revolutionize how you shop for pumpkins this season. These aren't just about being cheap, they're about being smart and getting the absolute most value for your money. Because at the end of the day, Halloween should be about creating those magical moments with your family, not stressing about overspending. So, are you ready to become a savvy pumpkin shopper and create some amazing Halloween memories while keeping more money in your pocket? Let's make this Halloween season the best and most budget-friendly one yet.
All right, let's do some pumpkin talk. These are good because you look at the width of the stem. The width of the stem is the same width of the walls. So depending on what you're wanting to do, as far as 3D carving, these are great because they've got a thick wall. But if you're doing a jack-o'-lantern, this is way too thick of a wall. You'll want to look for a skinnier stem. The other thing that's important is the green of this stem. If it's not dried out, it tells you that it was recently picked from the vine, and this guy will last a lot longer. This one is a little bit older, and if you look at the stem, you can tell it's starting to dry out, and that means that it's been off the vine a little longer, so he's not going to last as long. These pumpkins are all decent looking. These make some great gourds and other designs. Things to watch for, like this would be a good jack-o'-lantern. See how skinny the stem is? So a thin stem means thin walls, so he's good for a jack-o'-lantern carve. And when the stem is starting to get brown like this one, that means it's been off the vine for a while and his shelf life isn't very long. So those are definitely things to watch for in picking out your pumpkins and which ones you want to use. These are excellent for some fun designs. I love the little texture to them. Those are great just as a decoration themselves without carving or doing stuff to. I love the odd shaped ones. This one is really cool. These have a nice flesh to them. They carve really easy. They're softer than an actual pumpkin because this is a gourd.
Okay, all you ghosts and goblins, let's talk about something that can make or break your Halloween masterpiece, choosing the perfect pumpkin for your carving style. Trust me, I've learned this the hard way, and I'm here to save you from some gourd-awful mistakes. Let's start with the classic jack-o'-lantern. You know, those friendly faces with triangle eyes and goofy smiles that we all grew up with. Fun fact, this tradition actually started with turnips in Ireland to ward off evil spirits. Can you imagine carrying around a carved turnip? Thank goodness for pumpkins, right? For this traditional style, you'll want a pumpkin with thinner walls, since you'll be using basic kitchen knives, and you don't need anything too fancy. Moving up the carving ladder, we've got the stencil or trace style. This is where things get a bit more interesting, but don't worry, it's still totally doable for beginners and kid-friendly. Picture this. You've got your cool pre-printed design, you're poking holes like connect the dots, and before you know it, you're creating something that'll make the neighbors do a double take. Like the classic jack-o'-lantern, you'll want a pumpkin with thinner flesh for this style too. It'll make your life so much easier when you're cutting out those detailed patterns. Now hold on to your carving tools because we're about to talk about the grand finale, 3D carving. This is where pumpkin carving becomes a true art form. We're talking incredibly detailed human faces, terrifying monsters, and basically anything your imagination can dream of. But here's the catch. You need a completely different type of pumpkin for this style. You'll want to look for those massive pumpkins with thick, sturdy walls. This is definitely not your beginner's territory. It's more for those advanced carvers who've graduated from triangle eyes to realistic sculptures. Here's the most important takeaway. Matching your pumpkin to your carving style is crucial. I can't tell you how many times I've watched a potentially amazing creation go south because someone tried to create a detailed 3D masterpiece on a thin-walled pumpkin, or struggled to make a simple jack-o'-lantern with a pumpkin that was thick as a brick. Remember, friends, the right pumpkin is like the right canvas for a painter. It can make all the difference between a Halloween hit and a pumpkin patch mishap. So before you grab that first pumpkin you see, take a moment to think about what you're planning to create. Your future carved masterpiece will thank you.
Okay, here are some examples. This one's busted off, but it's already started to kind of be dry. He's not going to be a lot of good for a lot because he's getting older. You kind of want him to have a stem. If the stem is breaking off like this, then they've been off the vine for too long, and these won't last long. You can tell when they start to dry and turn solid. You want a more green, healthy stem. This one's kind of cute. I like him. That's a good one. Birds are cool. That guy right there. This guy right here. This is a really good one. Nice thick stem, green on him. He'll last a while. I'm probably going to snag that one and take it home. That's a good one with a nice fat stem. I'm liking the stem on that one back there too. See how that one doesn't have a stem? That's one you don't want to get. The life for that thing comes from the stem, and when it's gone, the pumpkin is pretty much done for. Meaning he won't last very long.
I want to share a little known secret that'll help you get the most out of your Halloween decorations and fall festivities. You know that stem on top of your pumpkin? Well, it's not just there to look pretty. It's actually the key to making your pumpkin last longer. Let me break this down for you. When you're at the pumpkin patch or store, most people focus on finding the perfect shape or size. But here's what the pros look for, the stem. You want to find a pumpkin with a nice long thick stem that's still green and freshly cut. Think of it like a straw that keeps your pumpkin hydrated and healthy, even after it's been picked from the vine. Now here's something interesting. Did you know that the stem actually helps prevent rot? It's true. When a pumpkin has a short or broken stem, it's like leaving a door open for bacteria and moisture to get in, which speeds up the rotting process. That's definitely not what we want for our carefully carved masterpieces or decorative displays. But wait, there's another insider tip I've got for you. While everyone's reaching for those perfectly orange pumpkins, look for ones that still have a slight greenish tint to them. I know it might seem counterintuitive, but these slightly underripe pumpkins can actually last weeks longer than their fully orange counterparts. It's like picking a banana that's still got a touch of green. It'll ripen perfectly at home and give you more time to enjoy it. And here's the thing, don't feel bad about being picky when selecting your pumpkin. Take your time, inspect different ones, and don't settle for less. Remember, you're not just buying a decoration, you're making an investment in your fall festivities. A well-chosen pumpkin with a healthy stem can last you throughout the entire season, from early October right through Thanksgiving. So next time you're pumpkin shopping, be that person who's carefully examining the stems and checking for green tints. Trust me, your future self will thank you when your pumpkin is still looking fresh and festive while others are turning to mush. Pumpkin picking perfection starts by being picky and frugal. Spend less to get more.
Okay, as you can see, I did in fact get that pumpkin that was partially green. That's the good thing to this one. He's partially green. That means that it has lots of time to continue to ripen, and it has a nice thick stem, and the stem is still green. So bringing it home, this is September 20th. So I've still got almost a month until Halloween, or until I want to carve it and make it into a 3D carved pumpkin.
I want to share some amazing tips on how to make your Halloween pumpkins last longer and get the most out of them throughout the fall season. You know, most people just grab a pumpkin, carve it right away, and watch it slowly deteriorate within days. But what if I told you there's a better way to enjoy your pumpkin for weeks or even months? Let me show you how to be a smart pumpkin parent. First, let's talk about maximizing your pumpkin's potential before carving. Think of your pumpkin as a versatile decoration piece. You can start by using it as a beautiful centerpiece on your dining table. Just arrange some colorful autumn leaves around it, maybe add some mini gourds, and boom, you've got yourself a stunning fall display. Want to get creative without committing to carving? Here's a fun trick. Use watercolor paint to draw different faces on your pumpkin. The best part, you can wash it off and start over, or grab some markers and sketch out different jack-o'-lantern designs. It's like having a pumpkin dress rehearsal before the main event. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is something most people don't know about. If you want your pumpkin to last an incredibly long time, consider doing what we call a no penetration carve. This is a game changer, folks. Instead of cutting all the way through, you only carve into the skin and flesh, being super careful not to reach the center where all those seeds are hiding. Think of it like giving your pumpkin a tattoo rather than surgery. By not breaking into the pumpkin's core, you're preventing bacteria from getting inside and starting that dreaded rotting process. I've seen these non-penetration pumpkins last for weeks, sometimes even months when properly cared for. With these tips, your pumpkin can be the star of your fall decorations from early October all the way through Thanksgiving. Now that's what I call getting your money's worth from a pumpkin. Some game-changing tips that'll help your carved pumpkins last longer and look better than ever. Trust me, these tricks will take your Halloween decorations to the next level. Let's start with probably the biggest mistake people make when carving pumpkins: cutting the top. I know, we've all done it, but here's a better way. Instead of cutting a circle around the stem, turn your pumpkin around and cut a square hole in the back at a 90-degree notch angle. This creates a wedge that sits perfectly in place. Why is this better? Well, when you cut the top, it often ends up rotting first and falling inside your pumpkin, which is not only gross, but can also extinguish your light. Speaking of lights, here's another pro tip. Ditch those traditional candles. They're actually a fire hazard and can cook your pumpkin from the inside. Instead, use battery-operated tea lights or LED candles. I've even experimented with small strobe lights for some seriously spooky effects that'll make your neighbors do a double take. Now let's talk preservation. Nobody wants their masterpiece to turn into a mushy mess after just a few days. Here's a simple solution. Mix up some vinegar and salt water in a spray bottle and give the inside of your pumpkin a good spritz. While this won't completely stop the decay process, it'll definitely slow it down and buy you some extra time. But wait, I've saved the best trick for last. This is my secret weapon for making pumpkins last an incredibly long time, especially for those fancy 3D carvings and no penetration designs. Get yourself a couple cans of clear coat spray paint. Now this part is crucial. Apply thin, even coats from every angle possible, making sure to cover all the exposed flesh. Let each coat dry completely before applying the next one. Repeat this process several times. The clear coat creates a protective barrier that significantly extends your pumpkin's life. For pumpkins where you haven't cut all the way through, this technique can make them last an amazingly long time. As a bonus, the clear coat can create some really interesting effects, giving your pumpkin an eerie, almost artificial look that's perfect for Halloween. Mix in some bronze or colors, metallics, they make some awesome special effects. Remember, the key to a long-lasting carved pumpkin is protection and preservation. With these methods, you can enjoy your spooky creations much longer than usual. Now get out there and start carving. And don't forget to show off your protected pumpkins, that'll be the talk of the neighborhood.